Detective Cole Freeman roams space in search of the missing scientific research ship Atropa. He plays chess with himself and reviews the personal affairs of the crew: Captain Robert McKay, scientist Jacob Sanders, mechanic Andrew Jensen, medic Moira. Suddenly, a danger signal activates. Cole's ship literally stumbles upon an unidentified ship. He tries to communicate with the vessel but receives no response. Only upon approaching does he read its name in amazement: Atropa, although this simply cannot be. Cole switches to manual control and heads to the Atropa. He finds the crew sleeping in cryostasis. Then he checks the control system, reading the date on the display with astonishment: March 15th, 2122. He awakens the crew and explains that 38 days ago the ship disappeared from radars and attempts to contact them were unsuccessful. The problem is that it's not March 15, but June 9th. Cole expected to catch up with them only in 98 days, and this is unlikely a coincidence. He introduces himself. He's an officer serving at the outpost from where Atropa departed. Moira tries to say something about the detective, but before she can, the ship shudders from an impact. The next moment, they realize their ship collided with another spacecraft, which turns out to be identical to Atropa. The crew speculates an exact replica of the ship was built, but they chose the name themselves. Could it be that they are on the ship? Jensen reports that their ship lost all external communication equipment, so they can't send any signals. Moreover, the detective's ship has detached from the impact and is now drifting out of reach. But most worryingly, they are losing oxygen, and in 9 to 10 hours, they will suffocate. Cole then proposes a rescue plan. They need to get to Atropa 2. He asks for a magnetic rope to be prepared and puts on a spacesuit. The commander notices a pistol and asks him to leave it, but Cole refuses. This weapon will be with him. Moira escorts Cole to the exit. It becomes clear that they were close, but the woman left on a 15-year mission without saying a word to him. But his primary mission was to find the crew, and now he must get to the other ship. The detective opens the airlock, flies over to the second Atropa by the rope, and enters inside. Everything inside looks like an accident happened. No lighting and no gravity. Cole inspects the room and finds a photograph of Moira with the captain, causing their surprise. He moves on, guided by the crew, since the inside of the ship is identical to theirs. Cole tries to connect to the terminal and discovers the absence of lifeboats, but where could the crew have gone? Then Sanders discovers that the second Atropa was flying a parallel course and stopped at the same time as the first ship. But how then did they collide? Cole and the others have long heard a strange sound but can't figure out where it's coming from until the detective reaches the passage leading to the lifeboats. He goes there and finds a body. Sanders? The next minute, explosions begin on the stern of the second ship. Cole, having grabbed the found body, barely manages to return to Atropa before its twin explodes. Moira meets the detective and brings him back to consciousness, but Sanders, seeing his double, goes into hysteria and has to be sedated. Later, Cole is upset, remembering the loss of his ship. Moira sympathizes, but is worried about how to get out of the predicament. The man reassures her they will find a way. The woman leaves, but the captain catches up with her. Why did she hide that she has a husband? But the woman cuts off the conversation. Cole goes to the restroom, sees the photo of Moira and the captain, and out of anger, smashes the mirror. Jensen reports that he caught signals from a navigation beacon, but they are very strange. Accelerated and playing in reverse. But the fact is that the beacon is working correctly. It's they who are moving backward in time. The mechanic displays a visual diagram of the ship's movement. Atropa seemed to slow down in time, so the detective was able to catch up with them 3 months earlier than scheduled. The computer managed to scan the size of the anomaly. Their ship is deep inside an area with space-time distortion with extreme curvature, and this area has no rules. They died in space, but they are being carried back in time. And soon, they will collide with themselves in the future. He doesn't know how to prevent this. They need air, engines, and Sanders, and he can't say how they could choose another path. Meanwhile, Moira discovers that Sanders from Atropa 2 died from gunshot wounds, and Cole's pistol is lying on her desk. The same pistol that Detective Cole Freeman is cleaning at the outpost when he is informed of the disappearance of the Atropa, and that Moira is among the crew. He hastily prepares to search despite his boss's prohibition, who wonders why he broke up with his wife. He informs him that he won't be able to track the departure from Dock 12. Then there's Cole and Moira in bed. Moira receives a call and runs off to work, promising to make it up in the evening. Cole takes the weapon and goes to meet Moira's brother, Mason. He teases his friend. His sister has planned their entire life years in advance, a beach house and a couple of kids. The partners go to the kitchen, where they talk to a first-generation robot. They are looking for a substance dealer, knowing that he rented an android for a while. It gives them the needed address. The detectives go there and get into a shootout where Mason dies and Cole shoots the suspect, but he gets arrested. Later, he hands Moira Mason's bloodied medallion, and she leaves. The boss is informed about Cole's unauthorized departure and is given the detective badge left for him. On Atropa, Moira tells the crew that the DNA of the deceased Sanders 2 completely matches their comrade's DNA, and he died from Cole's pistol. But how is that possible since he didn't shoot? The captain suggests removing the weapons and asks Moira to wake up Sanders, but Jensen reminds them of the escape pods, which is a good option. The captain is against using them, then all that's left is to wait, and here, it's a dead zone. So it's unlikely anyone will come. Only Sanders can help. Moira wakes up the scientist, but he suddenly grabs a scalpel and takes Jensen hostage. He's sure that Cole will kill him and wants to prevent this. Wounding the mechanic, the man runs away, and the detective and captain go after him. The pistol remains on the table, and Moira hides it in the cupboard. The captain and Cole look for Sanders and discover a crack that apparently will lead to a fire, as on Atropa 2. They inform Moira that they can't find Sanders, and during their conversation, Jensen disappears. Then the signal for the launch of the escape pod activates. Jensen has left. He apologizes for his behavior via communication, but he wants to live. The second pod is successfully blocked. Those remaining on board watch as the pod is pulled by the gravity of the ring. Apparently, Jensen didn't set coordinates. Cole asks to zoom in on the image, and the next moment they realize that the ring around the planet consists of millions of the same escape pods. This means that they have already been here and are experiencing this again and again. Time enjoys their sufferings, but Sanders is still on the ship. He can restore the ship's system. They can change something and try to break out of the loop. People disperse to find the scientist. In just 30 minutes, gravity will shut down, and then Cole admits that he came here only because of Moira. She is shocked. Is this the time to discuss this? And after all, it was he who left her alone with her grief. The detective apologizes. He couldn't do it because he stopped believing in himself. Atropa starts shutting down and locks Cole in the medical section. The captain rushes to help and is captured by Sanders. The scientist wants to escape the ship and takes the captain's key card. Moira runs after him, trying to persuade the man, but he's sure that Cole will kill him. Then the captain arrives. They both hold the scientist, urging him to come to his senses and try to fix the system. Meanwhile, Cole finds his pistol and shoots the door, but Sanders picks up a scalpel and stabs the captain in the chest. Shocked, Moira covers the deceased, then snatches the pistol from the arriving Cole and points it at Sanders. The detective asks for the weapon, and the woman suddenly realizes it was she who killed Sanders. And then Cole remembers the broken mirror, but on that ship, it was whole. Something has changed. Time just asked not to repeat the same mistake. No one sent him here. He came to say that there is a choice, and now Moira can choose. The woman lowers the pistol. Sanders rushes to the core of the system and manages to start it, but only for a while. Cole and Moira discuss what has happened. What did they do, and how will it change their fate? The system stabilizes, and then they hear a call over the external communication. And see? Atropa? The detective places Moira in the escape pod and gives her his badge. The other Cole will believe her if he sees it, and he himself returns to Sanders. They can't stop the process, but they can break time. The two ships collide. Cole closes his eyes and sees Moira and their two sons walking with him by the sea, and then he vanishes in the fire of the explosion. Moira hands the badge to the arriving Cole and hugs him. They can fly home. Classic, pure science fiction without terrible monsters and battles with ultra-laser weapons. A true gift for fans of the style of the unforgettable Arthur Clarke, worth watching if you're interested in science and space technologies.